Hello everyone and welcome to the tiebreaks of the FIDE World Cup 2025. It's round number 4. I'm going to be going through some of the games, some of the key moments, and of course showing you what pairings we expect in the next round. Let's see, because it's been a good run here. It's very interesting event, and let me know if you think that because in my opinion this should be the exact format of FIDE World Chess Championship as opposed to 12 games match between two players. Because look, this is a knockout event. This is very interesting to spectate. Hold it like 2 years, or let's say 4 years, just like you do in football with FIFA World Cup, because it's all fans want to see. So let's start by looking at the first gameplay between Prag and Daniil Dubov. So a lot of interviews have gone viral. You probably already saw that Daniel basically said that he spent 10 minutes in total to prepare for his classical games against Prag. He said that Prag couldn't pose any problems with white pieces. And we got to the tie breaks where, Daniil showed once again that his tactics for this World Cup is working. He makes 2 draws with in classical time control and then goes to tie breaks and defeats his opponents. Daniil, look, he won World Rapids not long time ago, so he's an extremely strong player, and he just again shows it on the biggest stage. So we got to the following position where it's kind of equal, as you might see by looking at the evil bar. I think it's easier to play with white. They have potentially a good strong bishop on a2 square. Knight on b6 is extremely strong, but something goes wrong. So knight d7, queen takes d7, queen f3. So once again, Prag is trying to put some pressure on f7 pawn. Rook a8, queen f5, offering a queen trade, queen c7, queen g4, king h7, h4, bishop d8, h5, and yes, this position doesn't look that good for black, but at the same time, like, let's say if I played with black pieces, I wouldn't say that, my position is better, but again, computer thinks it's slightly better for black pieces. So the main thing is probably because the rook on b4 is kind of bad placed, and I think you might notice as, yes, bishop on a2, as I said earlier, potentially attacks, but even after d takes c6, b takes c6, I mean, it doesn't really attack anything. Like, you gotta spend some time rerouting it or put some more pressure, maybe rook d3, rook f3, and then try to actually put f7 pawn under some danger. So knight on c5 is a real menace. Like, it's potentially attacks a4, it potentially creates pressure on e4, bishop is ready to go to g5 at some point, so black cannot complain. Takes, bishop b3, bishop a5, rook c4, rook d8, queen f3. And at this very moment, as you might see, minus 1.7. In h8, knight e2, d5, striking in the center, and now slowly Daniil was crushing Prag. Bishop b6, and you might already say that, man, this doesn't look that good. So king h1, knight d3, brilliant move. The idea is now, if queen b6, which happened in the game, queen e2 first, attacking both rooks, not taking on d5. And now, I mean, white lost material, queen g4, queen g1, queen a4, and slowly Daniil ended up converting the game, and he's advancing to the next round. I'll discuss later in the video who he will be playing against, and as well as some other interesting pairings. Another interesting endgame happened between Andrei Sipenko and Vincent Keimer. This was a very interesting pairing because at this very moment, I think they made all draws, and Andrei was playing with white pieces, and Vincent just played f5, which turned out to be a mistake. I'm not sure why computer says it's a great move for rooks. I mean, the position is just simply bad. So somewhere here, I mean, you gotta play f5 right away, and he spent some time trying to get the right moment, and this was the wrong moment. So king s7 took the pawn on g6, and yes, there were some mistakes, especially let me get to this moment where for some reason rook f7 would make a draw, basically you just start getting counterplay. Rook f7, rook has to get back to h1, then f2, rook f1, and you kind of get rook to the last. Oh, actually f2 doesn't work, so king g6. You know, it's not so obvious. f2 loses because apparently rook f1, king g6, and e5 wins. While let's say rook h1, f2, no, not f2, king g6 here. The pawn is not on f2 yet. e5, and there is some rook f4, king f3. It look very complicated. Endgames rook g1, king f5, I assume, and then e6, rook e4. Yes, and this probably would end in a draw. But luckily for Andrei, so what happened was f2, rook h1, and we basically got to the same position, which I just showed a few seconds ago. But here, unfortunately for black, they're collapsing. They're collapsing because pawn break, attack in b5, attack in a4 takes, and soon Vincent resigned, and then Andrei made he won the next game as well and advanced to the next round as well. And the wildest match was between Lorenzo Ladici and Sam Sevian, because I mean that was an insane tiebreak. You know, I watched the end of it, the Armageddon game. Sam was playing with black pieces, Lorenzo was playing with white, and in this specific pairing, players were winning specifically with white pieces. So the commentators mentioned that, you know, if you want to advance to the next round, you gotta avoid black pieces because they were playing, I mean, insanely good with white. But, you know, when you have these streaks, you kind of think, okay, at some point black gotta win. I mean, in this case, in Armageddon game, draw means black advance because they start with less time. And Lorenzo Ladici is playing for a win. He's, I think, the only 2500 rated player left in this event. So he plays castle, king d6, king b1. So here I already prefer black just because b4 square is weak and potentially, you know, b5 and a4 pawn. Like usually you want to place your pawn to a3, but because it was like the opening, like you play a4, because here you create more targets for black. And I mean b4 square, I just don't like it for white. And yeah, Lorenzo's trying to kind of make things spicy, but it just doesn't work. Sam played some very decent chess. This g5, king a1, and you know he got a winning position, didn't really give a chance, and you know ended up winning rook c3 before, and basically Lorenzo is losing a piece. And upset happened in the pairing between Alexei Grebnev and Maxim Vachier-Lagrave. So Alexei, who got the wild card by beating another French grandmaster, Maurizi, another youngster. Alexei is on a very good run. He is one of the biggest talents in Russia right now, and you know he will be playing Andrei Sipenko in the next round. But okay, let's see how he converted against Maxim, because here, as you may see by looking at the clock, 21 seconds against 240, and what happens is blunders happen all the time. King d4, b5, bishop h6, and b5 was a huge blunder because now bishop f8. It turns out that white are winning this knight takes, or the rook, bishop c5, c3, bishop a3, and very soon Alexei managed to get the win from the very strong grandmaster, and Alexei is on to the next round. Now let me quickly show you other results. Arjun Rigazi beat Petr Liek on tiebreaks. Dubov, we saw Frederick Svane continues his run. He defeated Bukash, he defeated Shan Sargsyan, and is now through. So you might ask, what is this number? That's I think that's the seed number. Yes, that's the seed number indeed. So Andrei Sipenko, Vincent Kramer 3-1, Wei Yi defeated Parham Maksudlu, Pintala Harikrishnan defeated Nils Grandelius on tiebreaks, Sam Sevian, Lorenzo Ladici 5-4, Alexei Grebnev and Gabriel Sarkisyan from the next round. Sam Shankland defeated Trichy Rapport, another, you know, upset, so-called upset. Sam is having a great event. And Yevakir Sindarov is defeating Yu Yanyi. And now let's get to the next round pairing, round number 5. Frederick Svane, Yevakir Sindarov. My prediction would be that Frederick Svane might upset another strong grandmaster. Even though, you know, I think in this pairing Yavahir is of course a huge favorite, but we see that a lot of 2700s cannot compete with 2600s. I mean, you know, it's a great event. Pintala, Hare Krishna, Jose Martinez. That's a tough one. You know, it's tough to make a pairing, but I would, you know, I can't even guess. Like that's just a great pairing. Both players can win, but I would give more chances to Jose. He is on the rise. He defeated a lot of some players. He just won the first 3+0 event on chess.com. He was having a rest day and still decided to play and won the event. He defeated Magnus, I think, in the last round. So he's on the rise, but of course, Pintala is a huge player. Nadirbek Yakuboev, not Abdulsatorov. Another Nadirbek playing Gabriel Sarsan. That's another interesting pairing. And, you know, here, I mean, yes, looking at the ratings, you would give some edge to Yakuboev, but this is probably one of the toughest to make decision on. Let me take a guess and name, yeah, I would still go with Yakuboev probably, because I believe he should be going through the next round. Lekon Alexander Donchika, you know, I think Alexander might make another surprise, so I would go with him. Daniil Dubov, Sam Shankland, that's the battle of underdogs. Both players can win. Both are previously were in 2700s. So, you know, but I will still support Dubov because I want him to make the candidates. And imagine if he makes. Of course, I don't think there is a possibility that he makes a World Chess Championship match against Cash, but you never know. And it's probably just a dumb take from me, but yeah, I just wanted to see him at least go to the semifinals. So another pairing is Alexei Grebnev and Andrei Sipenko. This is a tough one. Grebnev has a great run, but I think Sipenko will go through. Wei Sam7, gotta go with Wei. I don't believe Sam7 would be able to win, even though a lot of upsets, but I think Wei might and should win this match. And probably the most interesting pairing, which should happen later in the tournament, but unfortunately for both of them, someone's journey will end right there, not even in the quarters. But Levon Aronian will be playing Arjun Rigazi, and in my opinion, Levon might have a great chance at beating Arjun. And this is probably the matchup I would be looking for most. So it's going to be an exciting next 3 days in the FIDE World Cup, because we'll have Friday first game, Saturday second game, and then we have tie breaks on Sunday morning. For myself specifically, because, you know, there is a huge time difference between Canada and India. So guys, hope you enjoyed. I'll see you in the recap of the next round games tomorrow, and then of course on Saturday and Sunday. Bye bye.